Hello and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions, covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Make sure you follow us on social media at Mouse in the Mitten on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you're watching us over here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give us a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, let us know what your score is. Well, hey, things are always changing in Disney. We saw it just this week with the announcement of the new Genie Plus system and the Fast Passes and everything else like that. So if you need some help on planning your next Disney vacation, need a little bit of help on what's keeping up with what's going on, to be able to make sure that you have the most magical vacation you possibly can, I would love to be able to help you out. All you got to do, email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We can get you all taken care of. Now, this week is similar to last week. June is a big month for Disney movies, so we're going to honor 3 more Disney movies throughout the show today, plus a couple of other things throughout the show as well. And we're going to start out round 1 by talking about one of my all-time favorite Disney movies, and that is Lilo and Stitch. A simple dog taken to a home and shown love becomes the family's greatest possession. I guess that's one way to put that, but it's a great movie. It's still one of my favorites. Still makes me laugh every time that I see it. So without much further ado, let's just get into it with question number 1. What U.S. state is the setting for Lilo and Stitch? Question number 2. What experiment number is Stitch on his home planet? Question number 3. In a strange way of marketing Lilo and Stitch, what happened to Cinderella's castle in Orlando? Question number 4. In another form of marketing, what did Stitch do in commercials and advertisements leading to the release of the movie? Question number 5. What other movie came out in 2002 and Disney tried to bury with the release of Lilo and Stitch? Last but not least, question number 6. During the credits, where is the last place that Lilo, Stitch, Nani, and David end up at? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on everyone's favorite cute and fluffy creature in the form of Lilo and Stitch. So let's get started with question number 1. What U.S. state is the setting for Lilo and Stitch? Well, that is in Hawaii. Now, this was technically the only movie that was surrounded around Hawaii and everything going on down there. Technically, Moana, though we don't know exactly where she's from and the Polynesian Islands, Hawaii is part of that, so technically she can be lumped in there, but this is the only movie where the full setting is only in Hawaii. Question number 2. What experiment number is Stitch on his home planet? Well, he is experiment number 626. Now, for me, whenever I ride Tron, that's the locker I try to get to put my stuff in, is 626. I just think it's funny. Little homage to Lilo and Stitch and to Stitch himself. I've yet to get it. Every time I go there, 626 is taken. But, I mean, I for a good reason. But that is the one that I always try to get to just to honor him. And happy 626 day this week as well. Question number 3. In a strange way of marketing Lilo and Stitch, what happened to Cinderella's castle in Orlando? Well, it got toilet papered, presumably by Stitch. He was a little bit of a menace, and he decided to TP Cinderella's castle. And everyone woke up the next day, and there was toilet paper all over Cinderella's castle. Kind of an interesting tactic, but also very funny. Speaking of advertising for Lilo and Stitch, question number 4. In another form of marketing, What did Stitch do in commercials and advertisements leading to the release of the movie? Well, he interrupted key moments in Disney movies. He interrupted A Whole New World in Aladdin. He interrupted The Beauty and the Beast. He interrupted a couple other movies as well. And again, that was kind of their push for advertisement for Lilo and Stitch, was to have him kind of show that he was a little bit of a menace, and that's how they were able to do it. It was kind of funny, definitely very memorable. Question number 5. What other movie came out in 2002 and Disney tried to bury with the release of Lilo and Stitch? Well, that was Treasure Planet. I guess the concept of Treasure Planet had been floated at Disney for a long time, and finally they got the green light to go through with it, but execs at Disney were not happy about it. They didn't want it to win, so instead they threw very little marketing behind Treasure Planet and threw a ton of marketing and promotion behind Lilo and Stitch. Hence one of the reasons why Lilo and Stitch had a far better year than Treasure Planet. Last but not least, question number 6. During the credits, where's the last place Lilo, Stitch, Nani, and David end up at? Well, that is Graceland. They show all these pictures of the 4 of them hanging out, doing different things, and one of the last pictures is all 4 of them outside the gates of Graceland. Obviously, Lilo is a huge fan of Elvis, so this makes sense. All 4 of them are given the shaka, so it's a really cool picture and definitely a really cool moment that kind of brings everything full circle. If you have not watched Lilo and Stitch recently, watch it. It's always fantastic and always a good rewatch as well. Continuing on now into round number 2. Round number 2 is our fast facts. For this round, I will give you simple questions that have simple answers. For today's category, it is titled, How Do I Get There? For this round, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a resort and a park down in Walt Disney World. You just have to say, how do you get from point A to point B? So let's get started with question number 1. Contemporary to Magic Kingdom. Question number 2. Art of Animation to Hollywood Studios. Question number 3. Beach Club to Epcot. Question number 4. All-Star Movies to Disney Springs. Question number 5. Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom. And question number 6. Pop Century to Animal Kingdom. Now, there are a lot of different modes of transportation between the parks and all the other different places that you can go in Disney. So we're going to talk about these a little bit here. Let's start with question number 1. Contemporary to Magic Kingdom, well, that is the monorail. Now, the monorail system goes to a lot of different places, but one of the OG resorts in the Contemporary that has the monorail literally going through it. So that is the monorail for that one. Question number 2. Art of Animation to Hollywood Studios, well, that is the Skyliner. That is a fantastic way. It's nice and relaxing, nice and chill. Always love taking that one. Question number 3. Beach Club to Epcot. Well, the best way to do that is just walk. Literally, the Beach Club is on the boardwalk path there that goes right into Epcot. So you can literally walk to Epcot from the Beach Club. Question number 4. All-Star Movies to Disney Springs. That is Best by Bus. Now, there is a couple that on TikTok, they play bus roulette, where basically they go to Disney Springs, whatever bus shows up, that's the one that they go on to, and they have a meal wherever that bus takes them. And sometimes they end up at somewhere really nice like the Floridian, or they end up somewhere like the All-Stars. It's a really cool system, and Disney Springs is only accessible by bus from the resorts. Technically, yes, you can Uber to Disney Springs from any of them, but definitely bus is the free method as well. Question number 5. Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom. Well, that is best by monorail, or you can go by boat, whichever you prefer. I prefer monorail. That's just me, but I can see why the boat would be a great option as well. And then last but not least, question number 6. Pop Century to Animal Kingdom. That is best by bus. Again, rule of thumb with Animal Kingdom, bus is the way to go for that one. Now, do not, I repeat this, do not park at a resort that you are not staying at or have a reservation for, and then walk to a Disney park. Like has been shown so many times on social media. Do not park at the Contemporary and walk to the Grand Floridian. You cannot do that. Do not do that at the boardwalk. You cannot do that. To Epcot. Just don't do it. Disney has a lot of free modes of transportation. You don't need to try to skirt around the system. There are plenty of great ways to be able to get around at Disney. If you need help with that, again, let me know. I would love to be able to help you and figure everything out. Continuing on now into round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. For this round, I will be asking you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. And that's going to be your 6th and final question of the round is what is that connection? So let's get started with question number 1. What Hans Christian Andersen story was part of the first edition of Stories from Andersen in 1837 and as a result has a statue dedicated to the story in Copenhagen and is roughly translated to The Little Sea Maid? Question number 2. Name the movie that is getting a sequel and live action remake within about a year of each other. Question number 3. Name the movie that celebrates its 30th anniversary on June 24th, and a stage performance of this movie has put Disney under scrutiny because of who sang one of the most memorable songs from the movie. Question number 4. What story is known as one of the, quote, orphan tales that was originally published in 1790, but has roots dating back to several hundreds of years earlier in many Middle Eastern countries? Question number 5. When something is twisted together untidily or complicated and confused, someone might say it is this 7-letter word. And question number 6 is what is the connection here? Milo's really trying to help you out here and give you some of the answers, but I will give you a few seconds of music to see if you can connect those circles, and then I will return. Let's see if we can make some connections here. So question number 1. What Hans Christian Andersen story was part of the first edition of Stories from Andersen in 1837 and as a result has a statue dedicated to the story in Copenhagen and is roughly translated to The Little Sea Maid? Well, that is The Little Mermaid. Now, you might have been a little bit like, oh, what story is this? What story is this? What story is it? But then you might have been like me when you heard The Little Sea Maid and you went, The Little Mermaid. That makes sense. Hans Christian Andersen, known for so many great fairy tales. This is just one of them, and they honored him before the movie came out with the statue of The Little Mermaid. Question number 2. Name the movie that is getting a sequel and a live-action remake within about a year of each other. Well, that is Moana. Now, we all knew about the live-action remake. We knew that they were going to do it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced it, everything else like that. We knew they were doing a live-action remake. Didn't realize they were making a Moana 2. I'm very excited about it. I've heard different things about it, about how Moana 2 came to be and everything else like that. But it definitely sounds like it could be really good, but it's Disney, it's Moana. I'm putting my faith in Disney. Question number 3. Name the movie that celebrates its 30th anniversary on June 24th, and a stage performance of this movie was put Disney under scrutiny because of who sang one of the most memorable songs from the movie. That is The Lion King. Of course, they did a stage show for the 30th anniversary. You had Northwest on stage. I don't blame her whatsoever. I blame some of the other pieces and parts around her to let that happen. I definitely hope that she has a really bright, she definitely has a bright future. Hopefully this doesn't weigh her down, and hopefully she's able to overcome this as well. Question number 4. What story is known as one of the orphan tales and was originally published in 1790, but has roots dating back to several hundreds of years earlier in many Middle Eastern countries? Well, that is Aladdin. Hopefully the Middle Eastern kind of gave that away because that's where Agrabah is supposed to be based on, is kind of the Middle East area there. So that one is Aladdin, part of a group that is part of the orphan stories, orphan tales, and he's just one of them. And his whole story, and that got made into, obviously, Aladdin. Question number 5. When something is twisted together untidily or complicated and confused, someone might say it is this 7-letter word. That is tangled. Obviously, we could talk about your hair. We could talk about cords. We could talk about a situation. Oftentimes, we say that we're tangled up in something. So that one is tangled. So question number 6 is, what is the connection? So we had answers such as The Little Mermaid, Moana, The Lion King, Aladdin, and Tangled. The connection there, those are all different parts of Olaf Presents. Now, in Frozen 2, Olaf has that part where he basically recreates Frozen. And he changes shapes, and he has Sven involved, all that sort of stuff. Disney released on Disney Plus a 5-part series of that, in which these were the 5 movies that Olaf redid. He redid The Little Mermaid. He redid Moana, The Lion King, Aladdin, and Tangled. Now, I kind of hope that they do more because I thought they were hilarious, but I don't know if they ever will. But if you get a chance, if you have an extra 20 minutes, half an hour you want to kill and you just want a good laugh, definitely a good thing to look into. It's available on Disney Plus. It's something that definitely will make you laugh. Moving on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is traditionally held for movie anniversaries. As mentioned, we are talking about 3 movie anniversaries today. This is number 2, and we're going to talk about The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Definitely a great movie, but the music is phenomenal. So let's get started with question number 1. What city is The Hunchback of Notre Dame take place? Question number 2. What character, whose movie was set in the same city as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, makes a brief appearance and can be seen walking through the square reading a book? Question number 3. Within 2, what year did the straight-to-video sequel come out? Question number 4. What is the word that Quasimodo tells Esmeralda to say to keep her safe in the church? Question number 5. The statues at the top of the cathedral encourage Quasimodo to attend what festival? And question number 6. Name the medical condition that Quasimodo suffers from that causes his large hunched back. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get some answers here on The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So question number 1. What city is The Hunchback of Notre Dame take place? That takes place in Paris, France. This year, the home of the 2024 Summer Olympics. Getting super excited about that coming up in about a month. But yeah, that takes place in Paris. And again, that makes sense because you have Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris as well. Question number 2. What character, whose movie was set in the same city as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, made a brief appearance as they can be seen walking through the square reading a book? That is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Again, if you knew that The Hunchback of Notre Dame took place in Paris, you recall that Beauty and the Beast took place in Paris as well, in a kind of a small offshoot of the big city in a much smaller town. And there's a shot where Quasimodo looks down on the square, and you can see Belle walking through the square reading a book. Shocker. Belle is reading a book. That's how I was kind of hoping that clue help you get that answer. Question number 3. Within 2, what year did the straight-to-video sequel come out? Well, it came out in 2002. So in order to get the point there, what it had to say between 2000 and 2004. I have not seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. I don't know if I ever will, but apparently people have said it's pretty good. I guess I'll be the judge of that at some point in the future. Question number 4. What is the word that Quasimodo tells Esmeralda to say to keep her safe in the church? Well, that is sanctuary. Quasimodo tells Esmeralda, say sanctuary, call sanctuary, demand sanctuary. She says sanctuary. At that point, Frollo could not do anything, and she was safe inside that church. Now, everything that happened after that, Frollo, just a not good guy. Question number 5. The statues at the top of the cathedral encourage Quasimodo to attend what festival? They encourage him to attend the Festival of Fools, in which he goes down there and he gets, the king for being the most hideous person in all of Paris, all that sort of stuff. And Frollo kind of lets it all happen. All the things that transpired after that just kind of lets it happen to kind of teach Quasimodo a lesson. If anything, stoke the fire in Quasimodo that Frollo, not a good guy. Last but not least, question number 6. Name the medical condition that Quasimodo suffered from and causes his large hunched back. That is kyphosis. That is the medical term for hunched back. Now, I think it's because he has, keeps trying to ring those giant bells and pulling on those cords and everything else like that. When you got to really crank like that, you could, for your entire life, you could definitely do some damage. But kyphosis is technically the medical term of the hunched back look. But again, great movie. Music is fantastic. Story is really great. I love it. If you get a chance, again, check it out. If it's been a while, again, check it out. You will not regret it. Wrapping up today's game, again, the third movie we're going to talk about today is Hercules. Again, to quote Hades, 2 thumbs way, way up. This is a great movie. I've loved it ever since day one. Some people have said it's their favorite all-time Disney animated. It's not mine, but it's probably in my top 10 of my all-time favorite Disney animated movies. It's just so much fun. It's so awesome. The story's great. Plus, it's Greek mythology. You can't go wrong there. So let's get started with question number 1. What legendary actor plays the voice of Hades? Question number 2. What legendary actor plays the voice of Phil? Don't worry, that's the end of all the questions about legendary actors here. Question number 3. Who is the group of female singers that sing throughout the movie about what was happening to help explain certain portions of the movie? Question number 4. After completing his training, what city does Hercules and Phil travel to so Hercules can prove himself? Question number 5. Name the Titan that was tasked by Hades to go after Hercules while the rest of the Titans stormed Olympus. And question number 6. What line is said at the very middle of the movie? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's wrap up today's game and talk about Hercules. So question number 1. What legendary actor plays the voice of Hades? Well, that was James Woods. Now, James Woods has said on multiple occasions this was his all-time favorite role that he ever filled. He apparently at one point was told that they were going to go over budget. He said, I'll take a pay cut. I'll do it for free, whatever you need me to do. They ended up not doing that. They went with a different route, but that's how much he loved this. Anytime that Disney asks him to do something as Hades, he jumps at the opportunity, and he does a great job of it. Question number 2. What legendary actor plays the voice of Phil? Well, that is Danny DeVito. I keep seeing all these, well, if they do a live action remake, he'll be Phil in that one. I think it'd be great. I don't know if that would really be the best fit for that role. I think he would be great, but I think there might be some better options out there as well. Question number 3. Who is the group of female singers that sing throughout the movie about what is happening and helps to explain certain portions of the movie? Well, that is the Muses. They are the 5 women that sing, that we see them originally on like a vase or a vase. They are constantly there to kind of help explain the movie. They also help Meg when she sings her song as well. Question number 4. After completing his training, what city does Hercules and Phil travel to so Hercules can prove himself? They go to Thebes. Now, the way that it's portrayed in the movie, it's kind of like a New York City. It's a little bit crazy, a little bit chaotic, but definitely a really good portrayal and definitely a good understanding of what Thebes was in Greek mythology. So I think they did a good job of laying that out there. Question number 5. Name the Titan that was tasked by Hades to go after Hercules while the rest of the Titans stormed Olympus. Well, that was the Cyclops. All the rest stormed Olympus because the planets had aligned, and that was the time that Hades could rearrange everything. And Hades purposely sends Cyclops to go after Hercules and try to defeat Hercules. Obviously, he doesn't, but, he tries. Last but not least, question number 6. What line is said at the very middle of the movie? The line is, "Relax, it's only halftime," by Hades. Yes, that line is at the very middle of the movie. And again, that's just Disney being Disney and Disney doing what they do. It is a perfect little thing. It's a little nugget, and I definitely think that is really cool. Again, all 3 of the movies we talked about today, Lilo and Stitch, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules. If you're having a bad day, these 3 movies will put you into a really good mood. If you haven't watched them in a while, go ahead, take a second, watch, or a couple hours, watch them. It'll definitely be worth your time. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next Thursday with more questions and more fun. Make sure you're following us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. If you're watching us over here on YouTube, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, let us know what your score is. If you're listening to us on the podcast front, make sure you're following us on Apple. Make sure you download us wherever you can. Leave a 5-star review wherever you can as well. It really helps to promote the show. And again, Disney's always changing. There's always new things. There's always new adventures. There's always new ways to be able to make the experience better. They just rolled out another one this past week, and it can be a little bit confusing. If you're someone who you want to plan a Disney vacation, but seems like everything might be a little bit daunting and you want someone to help you out, I would love to be able to help you out and make it the most magical vacation that you can. All you got to do, email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We'll get you all set up and all squared away. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.